Hey, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about um, reaching out to get your book in bookstores. And for a lot of you, you're going to have some work to do, right? Because I know for a fact a lot of you do not have an ISBN for your book. In order to get your book in bookstores, you need an ISBN. Okay, so I'm just going to title this Getting Your Book in Bookstores. So we titled that Getting Your Book in Bookstores. And the number one thing that you need to do is make sure you have an ISBN. Again, not a free ISBN that Amazon gives you or that some of these other places like Lulu and even Barnes& Noble Press, they'll give you a free ISBN. Even Ingram Spark will give you a free ISBN, but that's only for their platforms. You're trying to get into bookstores, right? You're the whole reason why you can't get in the bookstores because your book is not sellable that way, and that's fine. There are, hold on, my ear pods are going out. Okay, and you can't use those free ISBNs to get into bookstores, even if it's like a local bookstore. Most of the time, they want to search for your ISBN. That's why in the last one, it was like the libraries. Remember, you need the ISBN. So, really quick, if you do not have an ISBN, like the barcode on the back of the book, if you look at me down in this little corner, on the back of this book, that is connected to your book. Yep, you can make a fake one. Yep. You got, like I said, you get them for free. And I think I was trying to say that there are authors, even myself, when I had my first book, I didn't have it in stores or anywhere. Like you could only order it through me, through my print on demand, which is another way a lot of people do make money, right? They go to speaking gigs, they bring their own books, and you cannot get that book unless you actually, go through their website and all that stuff, or get it through them. Great. But if you have the desire to have your book in Target, Walmart, actually on the shelves in Barnes and Noble and Books a Million and all these places, then you definitely need that ISBN. So you would go to Bowker Identification Services. You can Google Bowker, but just make sure Bowker, and then the top will say My Identification.com. There's a lot of different little scammy ones out there, so make sure you got the right one. You'll go into, I think it says like author, at the top it says something for authors. You'll click it, and then it'll take you here to ISBN. And you just buy one. I mean, I know they cost $100, but if you are trying to get your book in these stores and stuff, you're going to need to get that. I don't know why a lot of authors feel like when the publisher is publishing their books, it's like, oh, everything's free, man. This stuff costs it's $100. And if you know you're going to be publishing more than one book, then just go ahead and then drop that $300 for that, right? Especially if you want your book in these stores. So that's just, a little bit of the training. Now, if you have your ISBN, you own all your stuff, woohoo, you are ahead of everybody else, right? That needs to help. Now, the next thing is when getting your book into bookstores is a lot of them want you to have, be distributed through Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark is still that top distribution site where a lot of the big companies order the books from. Not everyone orders books from Amazon. I mean, I don't know a lot that do, honestly, or anyone for that matter. Target isn't ordering books from Amazon. Walmart isn't getting your books from Amazon. None of them. Even if Amazon said that they publish globally, they're not doing it that way. They're publishing it through somewhere else or whatever. But if you want these stores to pick your book up like that, then you have to, distribute with Ingram Spark. And some of them will tell you Ingram Spark in another place, right? So make sure you're looking at that. And then follow the requirements to get into the bookstore. So right now we're going to go into Books a Million. So Books a Million is a bigger, book chain in a lot of areas. Kind of like your Barnes and Noble or y'all remember Borders books and all that stuff, right? So they house books. And so here is the requirement. And I want you guys to, take the time today. Today's assignment is checking this stuff out, right? Go to the website and look at how to, pretty much what to submit, how to submit a title for placement in Books a Million. So really quick, Books A Million tells you flat out that American Wholesale Book Company is the direct publisher, direct distributor for Books A Million retail stores, which means also American Wholesale Book Company distributes through Ingram also. I saw that in one of the other pages. So if you're like, what is that company? They're through Ingram Spark also. They are saying like our buyers review thousands of books each year for placement in our stores. They work closely with publishers and distributors to review new titles and backlists. So if you have a publisher, make sure that your publisher, knows that, hey, I want my book to be like distributed, wide globally, meaning that I want other places to be able to pick it up, because you never know. You can go into Books A Million and talk to, a buyer there, and they'll be like, yeah, I'll buy your book, or I'll put your book, I'll order 5 copies of your book. And then they go in there and the book isn't, on the shelves there. So they also have the requirements of like, if you don't see your book in the stores, then they have like a submission. But their thing is this, like your book should already be on their shelves. Sorry, that's a different place. They're saying like if you had already published with Ingram Spark, sorry about that, then your book should already be on the shelf. So this is what that was, submitting the book. And they tell you like, at this time, we only feature titles online carried by one of our distributors. They are American Wholesale Book Company or Ingram Book Company. That's Ingram Spark. So you may have something to do. You may have to go make an account on Ingram Spark, upload your book that you have on there so you can be able to have your ISBN available there. Now, they have these other requirements for people who want to, who maybe they do have their book on there, but they want to, update some things. I think it says these are all the requirements for those people there, right? But for you want your book in a bookstore. You see this requirement. Are you ready for that? Like, do you have your book set up for that? Nope, you don't. Like, you 100% don't. And this is where I clicked that, where it says, want to submit your title for placement in Books A Million retail stores, and that's where they told you that. If you want to know exactly what link I clicked to get on there, it is this one, booksamillion.com/publishers. And it's like a little section just for authors. I think if you scroll down to the bottom, it says for authors and publishers, yeah, right here at the company. So you can do it that way too. That's Books A Million, okay? If you have everything set up and you are with Ingram, then you good. They literally say to you that, let me see, all book submissions must meet the following criteria: no print on demand titles, and book must have a scannable barcode with the ISBN and price printed on the book. So check your book out. Make sure your book is legit with that. When it's done, send your completed title submission form and complimentary copy of your book to this address here. That's where you're going to send your book to. They don't do the whole, like, they're not going to look for it. No, they're going to, do it themselves. They don't return any books. Submitted books will be donated to their Books to Truth program. And then if your book is accepted, you'll be emailed a vendor policy, procedures and contracts, and all that good stuff. But it could take weeks or even months to get a response. So make sure you're filling everything out properly. And if you don't have anything done properly, then you may not hear anything. And here is the submission form. So it was in that little hyperlink there. You got to fill out all this information, right? And then they're asking you this: are you distributed by one of the following? American Wholesale Book, Baker and Taylor, which is a part of Ingram and the Ingram Park. Then what's your website? If you have one available, y'all better have a website. Better put that in there. Put your title, your ISBN, your publication date. You got some things to do here, especially if you do have a publisher, but your publisher, ain't doing that or don't know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just like, my job is just to publish this book for you. We didn't talk about wholesale book, distribution and stuff like that. That takes time, money, and all this stuff. So if you're trying to do it yourself, this is what you do. Also, when you are in your Ingram Spark, they don't say this, but make sure your book is returnable. There's a button you have to click to make sure, it says make sure a book is returnable, meaning like if they don't sell, you're going to get those books back, right? And you're going to pay for that fee. So I know that's probably the reason why a lot of publishers don't, they go that route, but they don't go that route, because if your client book ain't selling and can't sell, who about to pay for, this book to come back and have all these books in their garage? Okay. So that's what Books a Million. Now let's go to the next one you can try out is bookshop.org. Bookshop.org is kind of new. I think they're just having their first year, anniversary, and they support all independent bookstores. So if you are an indie author, you definitely need to hop on this, right? But guess what? The same thing applies. Like those same particular rules apply on how can I get my book into, Bookshop, and how can I get my book listed on Bookshop so then my local bookstore can order. Same thing. I think I went to the help for authors section, and then it said like, how can I list my book on bookshop.org? Click it, and then it lets you know, as of right now, our orders are sourced through Ingram. So in order for a book to appear on our website, it has to be available in their catalog. And then it says, if you'd like to get your book listed on Ingram, you got to go to ingramspark.com, sign up, put your book on there, and do all that stuff. If your book is on Ingram and you notice that it's not being shown on bookshop.org, then they have like a whole contact form that you can put in, and they'll figure out what's going on with you. But again, you have to have an ISBN for your book, and your book has to be listed through Ingram. Now, I'm not sure about like if you want to just list through Ingram and use Ingram's free ISBN. I know that may be beneficial for some people who are in a money, crunch. But just know, like, your book won't be, if a source says that like, hey, we don't distribute through Ingram, then you can't expect your book to, go through that area. So just be mindful of that. I did that with one of my books for Barnes & Noble. I knew I only wanted it in Barnes & Noble. So I published through Barnes & Noble Press, got the ISBN from Barnes & Noble Press, and that book is on their, site. So whenever we call to do like a book signing, they literally look it up and go, yep, I see the book. Okay, great. You can schedule your book signing for this and this date. And that's how that goes. Speaking of Barnes & Noble, we're going to go to them right now. So if you want your book in Barnes & Noble, like on a Barnes & Noble shelves, they have requirements just as well. So Barnes & Noble says this: please do not send physical book submissions to the press department. Unsolicited materials sent to our offices cannot be returned. So they say if you have a compelling marketing plan or expect significant media or publicity that will drive customers to the book retailers looking for your title, they want you to send that stuff to this email here with the following: your ISBN for your title, probably in the email, right? The details of your marketing plan. So you need a marketing plan, a marketing strategy on how you're going to get people to the store. Y'all got to stop thinking that just because your book in the store is going to get sold. Nope. They want to know, are you bringing people here too? Like, are you having a book signing or something? Are you going to bring your friends here? Like, what's happening here? Because we're not about to just have your book on our shelves and not sell. And you know what the downfall is for you? Is that book gonna sell on them shelves? They're gonna put that 50, 60, 70% off sign on that stuff, and then you ain't gonna make nothing. And then when the book don't sell, they're gonna ship that thing back to you. You're gonna have a garage full of books, and now you still gonna be stuck with selling books. So sometimes trying to get your book in the bookstores, you may not be ready for that. Okay. But I'm showing you this so you'll know, like, okay, this is another way that I can market my book, because I know either people aren't telling us, or I say us because I had to figure out myself too, how to put our book in bookstores, or they're charging you so much money just to tell you this information so that you can kind of think about, do I want to do this, and how do I want to do this, and how long will this take, and what this process looks like. Okay. But this is the requirements for that for Barnes & Noble, to have it on those shelves. And then it takes about 4 to 6 weeks, and then they go through this whole process, right? Plus, you got to have but Barnes & Noble got this like actual standard, like your book got to be this size, got to have like this color, like they have a whole like list of requirements for that. I recommend the best way that if you want to get your book in Barnes & Noble is to, of course, one, make sure the ISBN is like searchable through their catalog. So that's either getting an international one, like an actual, not international, but a regular ISBN, not an Amazon one. Even if you go to barnesandnoblepress.com and publish with them, you can use their, ISBN. Then you call up your local Barnes and Noble and you let them know, like, hey, I'm a local author and I'm looking to, schedule an event there. They're going to get their calendar. First, they're going to do a search for your book and make sure they see it. And they check to see if it's returnable. If it says it's not returnable, they'll say, I'm sorry, you got to make this book returnable before we will even schedule an event with you. Okay. Some Barnes and Noble are getting back to having, in-person events. So they will schedule that event, let you know what you need to do. They may even ask you for like a marketing plan, like, hey, what's happening if we're doing a launch or something? How many people are coming? All this other stuff. And then they'll decide on how many books they may want to order for, that particular event, or you may want to order for that particular event. A lot of people do that thing where they say, tell your family and friends to go to your local Barnes and Noble to request that your book is there. You can try that also to get your book into that store, but if you don't have people to buy it, then what's the point in it sitting on that shelf, right? It's just like one of those, like, I get it, one of those moments where you're like, oh, look, my book is in a bookstore. Like, great. And it's like, nobody's buying it still, right? That's the whole part of marketing. You're still going to have to market it. You're still going to have to find people, push people to that store in that location, okay? So getting your book in bookstores, again, getting an ISBN, distribute it with Ingram Spark, follow the requirements, make it returnable. I'm going to link this so you'll know, but I would like for you to check out, like I said, stores to look into would be like what we just saw, right? Books A Million, um, Barnes and Noble, Bookshop.org. That's the one where they connect to your local bookstore. And then you can also call up your local bookstore directly or go to their website. Some of them have those consignment plans where they're like, okay, we'll buy 5 copies of your book for, a contract, right? And they may say like you get 20% of sales or whatever that may be. So that's something you might have to talk about with your actual local bookstore. But today's assignment is to look into, getting your book into bookstores, right? If you don't have everything set up, take this time to set that stuff up. Go to ingramspark.com, set up your account, look at what all you have to do, upload that stuff. If you have any questions about anything that you need on that or you need help with, let me know what the questions are, right? And then look into those like what I just did. Have your own information on that. So when you talk with your publisher and stuff, you can say, hey, I want my book at Books A Million. Like, how can we go about getting that done, right? And you be like, and maybe the publisher published it a particular way through like, print on demand. I've done it before because my author never said they wanted, that type of, thing. And they're not that type of author where they getting a lot of publicity and marketing. So that's a conversation to have with your publisher as well. And even for yourself, right? Some people have the rights to their book, so you can do it yourself also. Okay. I'll see you in the next video.